My invitation is to everybody on that side of the house. Come to Ashfield and work with me for a day in my food bank and see that the brilliant scheme we've got in place, where when people come now for a food parcel, they have to register for a budgeting course and a cooking course. And what we do at the food bank, we show them how to cook cheap and nutritious meals on a budget. We can make a meal for about 30 pence a day, and this is cooking from scratch. We're glad to give way.
The honourable member for giving way. Can you answer me a simple question? Should it be necessary to have food banks in 21st century Britain?
I thank the honourable gentleman for his intervention. He makes a great point, and this is exactly my point. So I invite you personally to come to Ashfield, look at our food bank, how it works, and I think you'll see firsthand that there's not this massive use for food banks in this country. We've got generation after generation who cannot cook properly, they can't cook a meal from scratch, they cannot budget. The challenge is there. Come.
Well, what I will say to the previous speaker is that all of us have food banks in our constituency. We don't really need to visit his because we're perfectly well aware of the requirement for them. But the requirement for them is not because people don't know how to cook. It's because we have poverty in this country at a scale that should shame his government.
There's not this massive use for food banks in this country.
I think food banks are a lifeline to a lot of people, especially in this community. Every day there's this kind of emergency, people that need food.
We've got generation after generation who cannot cook properly, they can't cook a meal from scratch, they cannot budget. The challenge is there.
We don't come from the starting premise that people know nothing about how to cook or anything like that. We don't take that view at all.
Well, when people come now for a food parcel, they have to register for a budgeting course and a cooking course.
We don't say, well, if you don't sign up, you're not getting the parcel.
Are you going to vote at the next election? Have you decided yet?
I won't vote Conservative.
What will you vote?
Reform, Claim, Heritage.
So, how many seats do you think Reform get at the next election?
Very few.
I'll bet with that. Get zero.
Zero.
We'll get absolutely zero votes. Now, there is, we're not taking this, are we? There is a political party that the people are that offered me a lot of money to join them. And I say a lot of money, I mean a lot of money.
Respect.
And I want to join them because we've got a by-election next week. Reform have got a candidate. Now, in 2014, when UKIP were at the high, 2014, 2015, they were winning by-elections. And in general elections, in places like Ashfield, they were getting 10,000 votes without knocking a door, without dropping a leaf, but they got 10,000 votes in Ashfield and 10,000 votes in Sherwood next door, 10,000 votes in Mansfield, in the Silver and Bolsover. Never knocked a door, never dropped a leaflet, it was all about Farage, 10,000 votes. Now, if Reform are going to make any inroads at the next election, they've got to win that seat in Beds, and they won't. They'll probably come third and lose the deposit. Now, all they want, Reform, and I've spoken to the leaders of Reform, they want PR, which is proportional representation. They are hell-bent and want us to get hammered at the next election because they firmly believe that Labour will bring in PR. And the election after that, in 5 to 6 years' time, whatever it is, under PR, if Reform get 5 to 6 million votes, that gives them about 40 seats in Parliament. Now, think on, that gives the Greens about 40 seats in Parliament, and the Lib Dems, dare I say it, they'd probably get the same. So then you'd have you're back to Parliament, you're back to coalition, you're back to Parliament, where nothing gets done, ever. But the Labour Party won't do that. This is what reform wants. They don't care about this country at all. And I've met these people. For a party to want that to happen, they don't care about this country. All they want is a bit of power in Parliament. Now, the Labour Party, if you vote reform, you give the Labour Party a chance to win. The Labour Party will bring in votes to 16-year-olds, I'm convinced they will. And if they do that, you'll have to just rip your memberships on that. Because you'll never see a Conservative, not in my lifetime again. If you've been voting for 16-year-olds, we're done for a couple of generations. So, yes, we're not perfect. And I don't like selling the idea of voting for us on the opposition's worse than us, but believe me, we will be in a right mess if the Labour Party get the next election. And a vote for reform is a vote for Labour.
But should we talk about the Ashfield MP, Lee Anderson? He has grabbed the headlines, hasn't he, for all sorts of reasons over the last few years. But over the last 24 hours, he's been in the news because he's got a new job. He's the new Deputy Chairman of the Conservative Party. Now, this job involves going out. It involves promoting the work of the party, as you'll hear him say. And he agreed to talk to me this morning.
It's a strange one because I got the call yesterday, and it's totally out of the blue. And the Chief Whip asked me to be the Deputy Chairman to the party, which is a great honour. And so my role will be to get out there amongst membership, amongst the public, spread a positive message in the run-up to the next general election, which I have been doing anyway. I've been, most weekends, should I say, I'm at different associations, speaking to memberships and supporters all over the country. So that's pretty much what a deputy chairman's role is. It's about being, the face of the party, getting out, speaking, mixing, raising funds, and generally being an advocate for our government and our party.
And looking ahead to the next election as well, it sounds like it. So you're going to be kind of shaping policy and stuff like that? You're going to be shaping kind of the Conservative message for the election?
Well, we're all responsible as MPs in the Conservative Party, because we're the party in government shaping policy. That's what we do. Even as backbench MPs, we sit on different committees and have different conversations every single day. That's what we do. But my role will be being the front of house, really, to go out there and get that message across, and get the membership on board and get the public on board. And coming from a red wall seat, it gives me a bit of an advantage, I think, really, because there are probably 5 or 6 million people in the country who voted Conservative for the first time last time, and I think sometimes they need an extra voice there, and I could be that voice for them people.
Yeah, I'm thinking about your career, Lee, and of course 5 years ago you were a Labour councillor to
Yes.
Deputy Chair of the Conservative Party. I mean that's something. That's
incredible.
That's some swing.
Yeah.
That
It's an incredible story. Look, my principles haven't changed one bit. All I want to see in our great country is people given an opportunity to do the very best. And I still believe that. And I don't at the time, and I still don't think the Labour Party was the right party for that. I want to be in a party and being a party of government that supports and promotes aspiration. And regardless of what people think of our country at the moment, it's still a great country. There's still people risking their lives to get to our country. It's the best country in the world. And, if you reach out and work hard and try your best, you can achieve pretty much anything. And I'm living proof of that.
Mm. You said right at the start that you're there to kind of promote a positive message, that you're there to promote a positive message of the Conservative Party, but some people have called you a one-man controversy machine. Do you like the controversy? Because you do seem to get that a little bit.
No, when you say some people, there's some people are my haters. I'm never going to please them. That's just politics. If I've said this morning, I think on Twitter, these people that criticise me and keep complaining about me, like I say, Verity, never going to support me. They're always going to criticise, and when they stop criticising me, that's the time I need to have a think and worry.
Okay, and you worried about because you're now just called 30p Lee, aren't you? Is that? Let me just start that again.
Not really. No. No.
Let's just talk about your election campaigning then. As seeing as you're now taking on this role as deputy chair, so the stuff that we know that you talk about, which is your questions about food banks and whether food banks are necessary and small boat migration, is that going to form part of the Conservative manifesto going forward?
I've no idea. You'd have to speak to Rishi Sunak about that. I don't know what's in the manifesto. For
Would you
next
want
time.
it
There's certain
there?
things.
Would you want it there? Now you're in
Well,
this
I want,
position of
I mean,
influence.
yeah, I mean, the small boats, obviously, that's number one priority in the Redwater areas. It's my inbox gets filled with that every single day. I mean, the food poverty nonsense, what we talked about, is, I will double down on this. All I was doing was helping my local food bank. I was donating money. I was volunteering there. And we got a chef involved and food experts. And we batch cooked lots and lots of meals, and they worked out at 30 pence each. And all we was trying to do, at the end of it, we delivered these meals to people around Ashfield. And all we was trying to do is help people to budget and cook meals from scratch. But obviously, some parts of the media and some of the opposition, they latch onto that and put this label on you. But you know what? It got people talking about it. And the support I got privately in my inbox was absolutely phenomenal.
But you have said, though, haven't you? You have said that you don't believe that some people need to use food banks, that those who are earning do not need to use food banks.
I don't think anybody that's earning £35,000 should be using a food bank.
Even though nurses, firefighters, people are coming up, people who've got jobs are saying, I need to use this. You don't believe them?
No. Well, you bring them to me then, Verity. You get a fireman and a nurse in Ashfield and bring them to me and we can do it on the show.
So okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I would challenge you. No, I would challenge you. I would challenge you right now to find a firefighter or a nurse in Ashfield that's using the food bank, and I'll give you a year to find one. And I dare say you can't find one. And if you do find one, we can work together with that person and look at why they need to use a food bank.
Because, people are coming on this show, though, and we are hearing from people in Nottinghamshire who say that the situation is so bad that is their only option.
Yeah, well, like I say, the challenge is there. If people in my constituency earning £35,000 a year are using food banks, then I need to know about it.
£30,000 a year before.
Well, 30. Well, I said 30. I've said 35,000. Depending on which headline you read in the paper, I will challenge it. I've challenged the £30,000 bracket, and I've challenged the 35k, which I've seen in the paper. So let's meet you halfway, Verity. Let's say £32,500. Anybody earning over that in Ashfield, if they're using the bank, I need to see them. They need to come and see me. But as yet, nobody's ever contacted me to say they're using a food bank and they're earning that sort of money. They're the facts.
Okay. Well, we'll leave the facts there then, and we'll leave it open, and
yes.
we'll see.
And I look forward to you bringing me a fireman and a nurse on that sort of salaries using the food bank, and I will hold my hat up and do my very best to help them.
Do you think people should believe you?
Well, it's up to them. I mean, people will choose which sort of politics they follow. They'll put their faith in one political party. Sometimes let they swap. I mean, I'm living proof of that. But like I say, I mean, the media. Oh, you say I'm controversial. It's the media that stokes controversy a lot of the time by picking up on these sort of stories. When I challenge the Labour Party to come to my food bank, I've challenged every single Labour MP to come and have a look. Not one accepted.
Because there is a worry. There is a worry by some that you are that you might be a bit dishonest.
No, not really. I mean, have you ever told a lie, Verity?
I'm not, but we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you.
No, that's the question. Have you ever told a lie?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about when I'm talking about dishonesty. I'm talking about that video that you did, where you asked a friend to pose as an anti-Labour swing voter.
Have you ever told a lie?
But we're not talking about me. But this isn't.
I'm not. No. Let's have a balanced conversation. Have you ever told a lie?
Well, I've not asked somebody to pretend to be somebody that they're not.
Have you ever told a lie? No,
I've not asked somebody to pretend.
Have you? So, Verity, have you ever told a lie? It's a yes or no answer.
What I'm saying is, I've never asked somebody to pretend to be something that they're not, just to further my campaign. I've not asked somebody.
Have you ever told a lie?
And I am asking you whether that is dishonest.
Well, just answer the question, please. Have you ever told a lie?
I mean, what do you mean? We, as humans, you tell false truths to protect people.
So you're a liar.
You say false truths.
So you're dishonest.
I'm not saying
you're dishonest.
What I'm saying is there is a concern that based on what happened when you asked a friend to pretend to be an anti-Labour swing voter and you were caught doing it on camera, there is a concern
Well, the thing is,
about honesty
there's no
when it
concern.
comes to you. And I
No,
suppose
there's no
I'm just...
concern.
But and let's talk about that then, because I think that's really important.
So we've established that you are already dishonest in the conversation because you've admitted you tell lies. Let's talk about that video, though, Verity. 3 weeks after that video surfaced, I was voted in as the first ever Conservative MP to be elected at a general election and beat Labour by 8,000 votes. So that's what the people of Ashfield think, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, well, make sure you play all that. Make sure you play all that clip, Verity, because, you know, if you chop it...
I'm going to
like
struggle to play...
time,
Leanne, I am going to struggle to play it all because it is 10 minutes and we don't have 10 minutes of time. But
If you chop it like I did last time, that's the last clip I give to Radio Nottingham. I want it all on, please.
I'm not going to be able to play it all because it's 10 minutes long. But this is also the...
put any on.
Pardon?
Then don't put any on, and you should put it all on, so people get the clear message of what exactly has been said. So, if...
it's 10 minutes long. I won't be able to play it all. But I will,
Yeah, but you can play it in sections.
I can't, I mean, I've got to refer it to a producer. That's how we work here. We work as a team. But let me just listen to it. Let me just listen to it.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying to you
now not to put it on then.
I'm saying to you, let me just listen to it. There is a way of playing it where we're not playing 10 minutes out, but we're getting a flavour of what is being said. So let me just go back and listen to it. Let me refer it to my producer, and we'll take. and then we'll take it from there.
No, you're not listening to me. I'm asking you now not to play it.
Why are you asking me that?
Because I can't trust you to play the whole lot and be fair to me. We're supposed to be talking about my role as a chair. But no, you're not.
Well, then we can just play that bit out.
No. Listen, please listen. We were supposed to be talking about my role as deputy chairman, not the other stuff.
But it all kind of.
So you went off at a tangent. If they'd own that, no, it doesn't. It might do to you, but to me it doesn't. I came on to talk about, as a favour to Hugh, to talk about my role as the deputy chair. So don't play it, please. If you do, I will never give you anything again.
So we have played it. We've played all 11 minutes and 14 seconds of it. So it's Lee Anderson, Ashfield MP. As you heard, not happy with some of my questions. We did think it was important for you to hear from the newly appointed Deputy Chairman of the Conservative Party, despite the fact he changed his mind about playing it at the end of the conversation and said he wouldn't talk to us again. So that might be the last time you hear from Lee Anderson on this radio station. We have played the interview in full, as he asked, and we've not edited it.
Set up? Well, more than I'd realised, for it was only after Lee Anderson had left us that my cameraman producer had the chance to tell me that because Anderson was wearing one of our radio microphones, we'd managed to record him setting up the apparently spontaneous doorstep encounter beforehand. Watch and listen. You can just see Anderson on the phone behind me.
Don't just make out you don't make out you know who I am. You know I'm the candidate, but not a friend. All right. I'm out at staff car park. Have a quick look. Yeah. All right, I'll see you in a minute. See you, mate.
At the time, Anderson said the call was merely about campaign material.
Right, I better turn this off. Some leaflets have just come for me, so